All right, and we are live. It is Wednesday, once again, 9:04 p.m., January the 11th, 2023. Halenville live. Fruitcake Tony, Charles Green, Sandra, Keith along. What's happening, guys?
Good to see you guys.
Yeah, great to see both of you and you,
How
Sandra,
is it
as well.
going? Right on. Yeah. Yeah, man, it's Wednesday. I can't wait for Wednesday. We got a lot to talk about, and we got a guest in the green room tonight.
Got a really guest. We're gonna go full nerd on guitars. There's no question about that. Some sad news: passing of Jeff Beck. You guys.
Yeah.
Freaking horrible.
Shocker.
Yeah.
Complete shocker. I didn't even know, if he had a condition or not, but just shocked to hear the sound, the news.
Didn't hear that until today, but yeah, the passing yesterday of Jeff Beck. So yeah, one of the greatest guitar players of all time.
It's a shame. We've got. It's not a shame, but in the back of my mind, since he passed, I would love for us to be able to do a show in the very near future on just Jeff Beck. I could talk for an hour about Jeff Beck. Seen him a couple of times. He was a major influence on my musical direction. My brother saw him in the early 70s. He was one of the very first concerts I ever saw. It really sucks. But, rest in peace, Jeff Beck.
So check this out. This sits right behind me. Not all this can go on the wall and stuff's in waiting, but this sits behind me. And
wow.
This was
Look at that, man.
Oh, man.
There's some down-home stuff right there, brother. Wow. I won't, I'd like, if I start telling stories, it's going to get long, so I won't. I'll keep them for a show. But some great Jeff Beck stories, you guys. Great Jeff Beck stories.
So yeah, that I just realized that sits right behind me.
With the James Gang. And
yeah.
Wow.
When he formed his first band, the Jeff Beck Group, he brings this guy named Rod Stewart, who nobody freaking knew, and Ron Wood, another guy that nobody knew. And within 2 years, a year and a half to 2 years after they formed that band, it's interesting how Led Zeppelin came out, and I would argue that Jimmy Page imitated Jeff Beck Group to form Led Zeppelin.
You can say that.
Too far off, yeah.
And the album Truth.
Wrong with that.
The Jeff Beck Group album Truth is quite literally the beginning of heavy metal. It's the beginning origins of it. It's a subject you can go way deep on and full nerd out on it, guys.
Way deep.
We don't have the time tonight to do
it.
Rest in peace, Jeff Beck. My God.
Yeah, rest in peace. Let me show this one more time. That is very sad. And I didn't hear this until today.
Yeah. News broke really quick this afternoon, like 2:30 my time on Pacific Standard Time. And at the time I was like in the middle of making a couple of phone calls, and then I started getting my phone blew up. Like, holy crap, And I grew up loving the man, Jimmy Page, Jimi Hendrix, Jeff Beck. They were always, and Clapton, of course. They were always the big ones, I grew up listening to Wired, Blow by Blow, Guitar Shop, Truth, of course. I mean, those are all essential Jeff Beck albums, hands down.
Yeah. I tell you what, it's nice to see you guys. Let me open up my chat, Charles. Have you opened yours up?
Well, sir, I like to wait like you do.
I'm gonna crack it. There it is.
Ready, there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Running like New York
Hey, we got people.
I see Dan. Right on. Good to see you, Dan. There's Tim Thomas in the house. What's
good to see you,
happening,
brother.
Tim?
Yeah, man.
Good to see you, bro. Sandra is in the house.
Yeah,
Nightbot is in the
Sandra.
house.
Good to see you, man. Good to see you.
Yeah. There you go. Nightbot. Give it up for Nightbot. All right, Thomas Santiago in the house. What's happening, Thomas?
Good to see you, Thomas. Right on,
Ed
brother.
in the house. What's up, Ed?
Right on, Ed.
Yeah.
Good to see you, bro. Andy
Animator.
Carson is here.
Andy, it's good to see you, my friend.
And Janice Lala is too.
Janice, how are you?
Right on.
Janice.
Right on.
Indeed.
All right, I'm going to scroll upward. Christopher Live Sour, Guitar Man
Minnesota,
45.
right on, man.
Dudes,
Guitar Man.
what's up?
Good to see you guys.
Ryan Hall, what's up, Ryan?
Ryan.
Good to see you, Ryan.
Yeah, man.
Right on,
Thanks
Ryan.
for coming tonight. Yeah, it's Wednesday, dude. It's Van Halen night. And not to say that every night isn't, but yeah. Get to cut the volume up a little bit louder on
how we
Rack
Wednesday.
it up.
Yeah, no shame in that. All right. So let's get to it. Lewis came on, I guess, about when? September, Charles, is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right about.
Well, Lewis returns with a very exciting new product. And I just don't say that. You are going to dig what he's going to show us tonight here. So let's just go ahead and bring him in. Ladies and gentlemen, Fairfield Guitar Company, Lewis Costa in the
Lewis,
house.
man.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
There you go.
how are you?
Yeah, brother.
There you go, dude.
Lewis,
Welcome
what's
back to
happening?
Halenville. Yeah.
Nothing much. Just excited about tonight. I'm saddened a little bit, obviously, because of what happened earlier. But all good things come to an end, I guess, right?
Yes, they do, Lewis.
This is true.
Unfortunately.
Nice to see you, sir. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's
Really
always
good to
a
see you,
pleasure.
Lewis.
Was always a pleasure being with you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, dude. So Lewis, we've had a sneak peek of this already, but the viewers are in for a treat
They are.
with this tonight. My goodness.
Mhm.
So
Good.
yeah,
Would you
so
like a little backstory? Should we
yeah,
start there?
Yes, man.
let me change the screen. Kids, go get some tea real quick because
Hey.
you don't want to miss this.
Prepare to get your
also-
panties wet on too. Whew.
Daniel Vanderlinder is in the chat. It's good to see you,
Hey, Daniel.
Daniel. And Bent Tom, brother.
Yeah,
Right on,
Tommy,
bro. Good to
how's
see
it
you,
going,
brother.
Tom? Yeah, I'm gonna give you guys a minute, and trust me when I tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to miss this.
A lot of good people here. Andy, Ed, Dan in New Jersey. Hey, everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dead.
It's all the usual suspects.
Yeah, right?
Hey, yeah. Hey, Dan, did you get your prize pack yet? I hope you did. It was scheduled to deliver on Monday.
I'm gonna change
Also, Mike
the look.
Chiotti, did I say that correctly? Chiotti,
That's
Mike,
right.
if I mispronounced your last name, bro, I apologize. Welcome to Halenville.
Yeah, welcome, Mike.
I'm
Good to
Italian. I
see
can
you,
do it.
dude.
Mike Ciotti, Micciotti.
Talk to you. Is that it? That's a great name, man.
It is a good name.
All right.
Yeah, you know,
So Lewis, I want you. How did this thing start? I mean, let's
So-
start at the beginning.
I'll give you the history on
this
it.
thing.
So I have a good friend, Cody. Cody, his brain's always going, and he's a real smart gentleman, and he's a real guitar guy. He might be joining us in the chat a little bit. If you see him pop up, Tony, that's going to be him. And he basically came up with this idea. It's not my idea. It's not my invention. He leaned on me for a couple of R&D type things, but he's got the patent on it, and he came up with the idea. He makes them, he sells them. So I'm just honored to be able to present it to you guys, being the VanHalen guy that I am in these chats that we're all, fans of the same type of influence. But the product he made, he's been working on for a while, and we've been tweaking it, or I've been helping him tweak it. But it's basically something that he wanted to go through a patent application for, because we will be showing one of the aspects of it, but the patent that he has on this device can be passed on to a bunch of different things. It's not just a one-trick pony. It's a work in progress. Right. This is just the first part of what's to come. And so it's a device that it's called the GIG, Guitar Interference Generator. And basically, if Cody's coming in, he can explain a little bit more of the details. I'll give the broad strokes on it and how it's used. But basically what it is, it's a device that interferes with a humbucker to change the sound of it. So basically, it's totally separate from the wiring of the guitar. It's something that you put into the guitar that needs to be placed underneath or next to or on top of the pickup. So basically what it does is it's changing the sound of the pickup.
How thick is it? How big is it? Does it change the height of the pickup?
It depends on which sound you want to go for. The one we're going to be looking at is a little motor that goes behind the humbucker. And on this guitar, we'll see a video of me playing this guitar with it, and it fits underneath the humbucker.
Okay.
It fits underneath there.
There's a cavity reroute that has to occur to accommodate.
It depends on the cavity. So obviously, if a humbucker is direct mounted, you might have a little bit of trouble. If a humbucker is on springs, you can adjust it. If there's foam underneath the humbucker, if you have an FU tone, the brass block underneath there, you might have to squeeze it in underneath. It's something that could require a little bit of detail from a luthier to get in there.
How big is it? How thick would you say it is?
It's about an inch by half an inch. So it's go ahead, sorry.
So the thickness as far as from the back of the body to the bottom of the humbucker would be the half-inch profile?
Yeah, correct. It's wider than it is narrow, and we'll see a picture of it.
It's smaller than a 9-volt battery.
Correct. And it has an on-off switch, and it has a battery to it because it powers itself. So again, you don't need to rewire the guitar. You just stick it underneath the pickup. And I can show you on this guitar, it's got 2 switches on there. So you might have to, drill another hole in your guitar if you want to. You don't have to. And this all gets revealed when we see the video and when you see the product. And Tony was nice enough to make me record something because my kids are sleeping and I can't be making too much noise at this time.
The thing you recorded is absolutely awesome. I'm flipping speechless over here. The thing I like about when you come in here, first of all, is I always learn something and you make me think.
Oh, thank you.
You make me think. And,
we got to thank Cody for that one. This is not me.
We can run that whenever you want, Lewis.
Yeah, it might. Yeah.
I say let's run it because then it'll give an understanding and we'll start a conversation.
Guys in the chat, check this out. This is going to blow your mind if you haven't seen this.
Yeah. All right.
Get your depends on boys and girls. You're going to yourselves.
You are going to love this. All right. This video is about a minute and a half or so. Correct. Check it out.
So I picked up this device from my friend Cody. It's called the GIG, G-I-G, which stands for Guitar Interference Generator. It's a patent pending unit that attaches to the bottom part of a pickup and interferes with the sound of the pickup. In this case, there's a small motor underneath there, which is controlled by 2 different switches, an on-off switch,
which also controls how fast the motor turns, and a push button, which turns it on. So in this case, with the motor all the way up, we get our familiar sound there. And then if you lower it, you can get you can play around with different sounds. For our purposes, that's the sound we can get. So cool pieces, fully customizable. So you can take away the level switch and just have a push button switch. You can make it into an 18 volt. There's a 9 volt battery underneath there that powers that motor. Totally independent from the circuitry of the guitar. So you can install this and take it out without having to alter or resolder any of the pickups. The only thing that's needed is that the device needs to go underneath the pickup so it changes or interferes with the sound of the pickup. So these can be purchased by going to ronniejamesdiode@gmail.com. They're $100 shipped to the United States. Get yourself a gig. Thank you.
All right, Lewis.
All right.
All right, Lewis.
Yeah.
First of all,
So badass.
that's a really nice axe, by the way. Did you build that guitar?
I did. I built it with the intent to show that product, and the reason it works is because the Frankenstein pickguard allows me to take it off and put it on real quick, and being that the device is not attached to the humbucker, you just push it underneath the humbucker there, and
So it runs in tandem with, if you strike out a note, let's say that you ring out a G chord and then you hit that button. Is that G going to ring along with the sound? And what does it do to the humbucker? Is it so overwhelming and distorting for the humbucker that it kind of cancels that ring out? I'm curious.
So the funny part is it doesn't affect the sound of the humbucker at all, and you playing doesn't affect that unit. What that unit is basically doing, it's basically taking that Makita drill type unit and putting it close to the pickup. The Makita drill is nice and big, so you don't have to have it right on the pickup to change the sound on of it. But when you get a small engine, when you need something or a small motor that goes underneath the humbucker, it needs to be attached to the humbucker, because as soon as that 1 inch by ½ inch motor gets pulled away from the humbucker, you don't hear it anymore.
It drops immediately, doesn't it?
It drops immediately in sound.
So it needs direct contact.
Correct.
And the vibration of the motor plays a lot of the part of what it's doing. Interesting. So, okay, I got a million questions. And Tony, cut me off.
No.
And I know.
So I heard some reverb. I heard a little reverb there on that tone on your video.
So the reverb is basically it
was imitating whatever your patch was.
Correct. Yeah. And so I sent Tony a video of it was a really quick video of me using it with an obscene amount of reverb and an obscene amount of delay, and it reverberates. Whatever comes out of that humbucker will come through the amp. Because it's not. That sound is also going through your pedals and through your amp and coming out. So if there's reverb on the amp, it's going to reverberate a little bit on the drill too.
Interesting.
And the good part, or the interesting part about it, is that you can take that motor off, and in the future we'll have different end pieces that you could put on there to get maybe a metronome, a constant toom 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 toom, or a phaser, a flanger. We're trying to think of different things that can be attached on there and trying to test different things on there.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
And so to tie it up, the patent is not for that one sound. The patent is for a device that mounts to the bottom of the pickup to change the interference of the pickup. So it can be,
So it's the mechanics of the unit that's been patented.
Correct.
I was thinking about, going through your head, a million things go through my head when I'm thinking about this stuff.
Right.
You push that button, you could actually rig this thing up, since the humbucker is essentially a microphone.
But this thing, really Charles, this thing is separate. It runs off the 9 volt battery, Lewis showed me the other day. He popped off the pick guard, and he's got it conveniently taped on the underside of the pick guard.
I can take it apart if you guys want to see it. It's not a problem.
Yeah,
But
it's this long and underneath the humbucker, and bam.
You just asked a bunch of nerds if you dismantle your guitar, and dude,
we can. Here, I'll do it.
Who's out of that sucker in a minute? No, I won't ask you to do that, Lewis.
I got a few other questions though as well.
Let me interrupt you guys, and I'm sorry too, but we have a guest in the green room.
Oh, nice.
Right. He's going to get
there we go.
So Cody is here, the inventor of this. Let's welcome him.
Yeah.
There he is.
Cody, dude, welcome to Halenville, bro. Very cool, bro.
Yeah. Hey, man, how you doing?
Oh, your mic's off.
He's muted.
You're muted, brother.
Oh, there he is. There he is.
There we are.
There you go.
Thanks for having me on,
man.
Cody, welcome to Halenville, dude. Look at you living in guitar heaven, bro. Holy moly.
Jeez Louise, body out much?
Yes, this is my office / warehouse.
Oh, I love what you've done with the place, man. That is awesome.
Thanks. It's all for sale. If you see something you like, let me know.
We're sitting here just tripping over this. This is really groundbreaking cool, dude.
Yeah,
this is
man,
like must-have gear. Wow.
Yeah.
I was joking backstage. I said, man, the Tessie switch takes away the sound and the gig gives you a sound. It's like the opposite, 180 degrees from one another. I think it's so cool, dude. The growl, I like the lower speed growl is way cool. God, man, I want one of these things.
It's funny. I'm also thinking of like if somebody's into death metal and just heavy riffs, you can lower that thing and play around with the Floyd and just get some really different sounds out of it.
That was actually my question. When the knob that you're using on that is that just a rheostat, or is that just a regular regular tone volume knob?
No, there's some logic behind that. There's a circuit board on there with some different things going on. It's more of a speed control. So the output of my design it's a digital signal. So that whatever you're feeding the device that's under the pickup it's going to replicate that.
Okay.
It's like a smart knob.
Yeah, so it's like a digital version of a rheostat then, yes.
Yeah.
Where did this idea come from, Cody?
Well,
I mean, this is ingenious though if you think about it, to tuck something and run it off a 9-volt and it make another noise as a guitar effect. Goodness.
Yeah. And I used to be an electrical engineer before I got into this. So that was kind of my background, and I just goofing around here, just playing around with things. And then the idea kind of came to me, and, I had met Lewis coincidentally at the time, and we started talking, and it kind of grew from there.
Man, oh man. Okay. So do you notice?
Yeah.
Do you notice of course you do, but how cool is the difference in tone? Did you try these on obviously on different pickups with different K values? So the end result of the sound you get from a 14 or 15K as opposed to a 20K really hot pickup must be different.
You can go nuts with it. I mean, we worked with single coils, different magnet types, so that affects the sound greatly.
Now, what did you get with a single coil? Because it gave you a sound, it just wasn't as fat and big.
Yeah, it's replicating it. The motor's inducing the signal into the coil, so you don't actually have to have physical contact between the device and the pickup. So whatever that device is doing, whether it's mechanical movement or it's electromagnetic interference, the pickup's going to pick that up and send it into your amp. So then whatever your amp, just like what you saw with Lewis's reverb and delay, whatever the amp's doing, that's also going to be brought into the mix.
Lewis is going to show us
Okay.
this thing.
So
Would
I
you
was
be
also
able to do
thinking-
this with also an active pickup and a Sustainiac even?
An active pickup, no problem. Now, see, the Sustainiac works with a similar technology, but it operates in a different way.
Right.
So
That's my questioning. Why?
yeah,
Okay.
that may interfere. I've never tried it with the Sustainiac. I would think that it may interfere with the driver.
Does
Pickup.
the vibration of the motor? It's got to play a huge part in this.
Yeah.
And
use
so
my strings as a guide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you correct. You have the physical vibration of the actual unit, but then you also have the rotor inside the motor. That's going in a circular motion. So that is also picked up by the pickup.
So, just to give you a little bit of a look,
Yeah, there you go.
look at that
There's-
potentiometer. Wow.
there's the motor underneath the pickup.
So it's right on the edge of it, so to speak.
Yeah, as long as it touches, and so here I could turn
It's
it on.
got to be touching it.
So there's, again, this is the volume for and you could hear it because it's not plugged in, but you'll hear the motor turning because it doesn't have to go through the amp to work. Push and turn. So we turn it on, and
Wow.
then obviously if you push it lower,
Oh my goodness.
and then you can do it at the same time.
Oh my
I think
goodness.
my battery might be dying. I've been using it so much this week.
That's why you have an 18-volt backup, right?
That's
the
right.
18, you said.
It's funny. Cody
Yep.
was mentioning the 18 volt was one if you want to put one on the two pickups. So if you want one, and then
okay.
you can use one tone on one and one tone on the other and adjust them, and you can get two different sounds.
That's right.
Wow.
So yeah,
That's right.
and
Holy
so
shit.
that's
that
that's the
opens up
piece.
a
So
whole
there's-
new avenue.
Hey, you
there's
just
the
blew
pot-
my mind now. That was just too
Right?
much.
There's the pot for the volume. There's the push, and there's the little board. You can see a little red light right there when you turn it on or off.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So, and there's the 9-volt battery. So it all fits
Unbelievable.
snugly into here. And again, there's the motor right there underneath there.
So what modification, if any, did you have to do to that cavity? None?
I didn't have to do I didn't have to do anything at all. No.
Nothing.
So this fits.
Did you have to
I had to raise my. I had
Did you
to
have
raise
to
my
raise-
pickup a little bit.
raise the pickup a little bit, but you didn't have to change the action on the guitar. You didn't have to raise up the saddles to accommodate the raised. You see where I'm going. Okay.
I just disconnected it, so it's not going to be working anymore.
I got you. Okay.
How much
just
harder
pull the
does the
wire off.
pickup sound when you got it closer to the strings now, though?
Cody might be able to answer that.
I
To
would
me,
say
don't-
this. There is wood below that. How much wood before you get through the back of that body on that particular guitar? What is about 3/8 of an inch
is-
at that point?
This is a standard strap body. It's a made in Mexico strap body. I didn't alter it at all. It's a
If you had to do a small notch out, that's not that big a deal. If
No,
it
but-
became an issue of wanting to, because some people, there's a specific spot they want their pickups to be as opposed relative to the strings, because that
Correct.
pickup
What's
sounds
up,
best in that
R2?
point.
Yeah.
That being said, I wouldn't want to adjust that out to accommodate a motor under a pickup. It would have to all fit in, and I wouldn't have to lose something to have something. Very
yeah. Listen, I think
Yeah.
the tricky part here is that if somebody's not qualified and you might have to get a luthier involved, it might be a little bit of work. I think maybe I got lucky that I didn't have to do anything to my body to make it
Right.
fit. I was going to buy also one of those Kramer Pacers, Kramer Beretta specials,
Sure,
and try it on there.
sure,
Um,
sure.
And so I haven't had the chance to do it, but I've owned one before, and I know those are on a humbucker ring,
Mhm.
and so there's space underneath there.
Yes,
Right.
there is. There is. They got a good sized
But
cavity.
again, I think the problem becomes when something is when a humbucker is mounted directly to the body, and there's really no space underneath. Then it might need a little bit of tweaking. But
Mhm.
I was telling Tony the other day when Cody first sent me this, I actually put it. So if you have a pick guard over this, I actually put it in that space right there. I didn't put it underneath the plate. I put it on the side, this part right here.
where there's relief. There's
Exactly.
relief out the side. I got you.
And I just had taped it down with a piece of black tape just to see if it was working, and it worked totally fine.
As long as it's making contact, it does what it's supposed to do.
Correct.
But it doesn't even need to make contact either. It just needs to be close enough to the pickup so that the pickup can
sound,
draw in the vibrations and the actual motion of the motor itself. There's different motors too. That motor we just kind of got the best sound out of.
Yeah.
There were smaller motors that you could slip underneath pretty much any pickup. You just don't get quite of that big full signature sound that Lewis has.
Let me ask you this, Cody. Let me ask you a couple of questions, but are there any other sounds that you guys have come up with to use other than this drill? And the other part of that is, how did you come up with this motor? A lot of household things have little motors in them and make little noises, but when where did that, and the pound cake drill, where did that say, hey, I can do this and it sounds like this?
You know what I thought of too? You said that, I said, man, I got an electric toothbrush. I'm tearing that sucker apart. I want to know what running that thing.
Where did you
a shaver, electric shaver or something? I don't know, man. I'm trying
I think it was my Dremel, actually. I think I was working on a guitar on my bench and I had my Dremel there.
Interesting.
And the thought crossed my mind, like, what if you actually put that motor in the guitar? But then that got me thinking about what the other things that you could do with it. So the motor is just the device that Lewis put on the end of that cable there, but you could put something else that would induce a signal, like a coil that had a digital pulse going through it.
Mm-hmm.
And the pickup would pick that up as well.
Is maybe we can put something on there. This is just something I thought of right now. That'll cancel the cycle hum of a single coil. So you have the single coil on. You can put something underneath there that it reverse wounds next to it and cancels the hum on it. So there's a ton of possibilities that can be.
So let me ask you a question. Crazy question. Okay, so let's say that you were into say Slayer tone, Metallica tone, even heavier than that. Something like let's pick like a John Petrucci tone, something that's got a lot of body to it. That little, does it imitate it? It's going to imitate the tone of whatever tone you're playing with your pickup, won't it? To some degree, because it's right.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So
it's no different than the string vibration above the pickup.
So if you're playing in drop, let's say you're in drop D, for instance, and your music is in drop D, or even a little lower than that. Okay. Let's say you're in drop A. Have you tried any of these on some of the dropped tones of guitars yet, by any chance?
Not really, because the strings are really independent of how the device works. The tuning is up above doing its thing. Your strings are the vibration of the strings are being fed into the pickup, and that's totally separate.
The tone is to be based on the motor and what that particular little motor is going to give you.
That being said, though, also, Cody, have you tried it on like 7-string pickups or 8-string pickups?
Yeah. It'll work on all types. Pretty much any magnetic pickup will work.
But have the tonal qualities changed at all?
Yeah, they would change with the pickup itself.
Okay.
The pickup's kind of it's the center of this whole design.
Yeah.
The pickup's what's picking up those vibrations and the physical movement of the motor.
And I would guess the amp settings would change the tone of it as well. Yeah. So if you set your amp differently, it's certainly gonna. I remember when I played 7-string years ago, I'd have to change my whole amp setting to alter to that sound. And I'm sure if you're using something like this, it's going to affect it. If you bring the mid down, it might fatten it up a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
I see 3 guitars from Cody that I want back there already.
Don't look, man.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, I'm getting distracted.
Yeah. No, things like industrial metal, things like that. I could see, it's limited by the musician's artistic abilities, whatever they want to do with it. Really, we're just kind of goofing around doing the drill thing, but there's a lot more to it than that.
Was one of your target points to target for that pound cake tone? Was that really
that's talking with Lewis.
You really did that well. I got to tell you, that's
all Lewis, man. I just gave Lewis the tools. He did what he's good at. Yeah, that's just through talking with Lewis. I mean, we're always talking about all kinds of different bands and musicians and things, and he's an Eddie guy, so he was talking to me about that, and that's kind of how that all came together.
Yeah. Right. So just to give you a history, we probably tried 4 or 5 different little motors.
Yeah.
So we tried a couple different things, and I had a motor in my garage, and so I put that one in. Cody sent me 3 or 4 more. So it was trial and error just to get, for me, I think the important part of helping Cody was getting the right Van Halen sound. And Cody, when he presented this to me, already had more ideas of where this could go.
And those little motors, the different motors we tried, they sound great. They sound unique, and they do different things, but they weren't for the drill sound. So that's kind of why we went with the bigger motor.
Did you get any really gnarly tones though? I mean, was there?
Oh yeah. You can even on Lewis's. I cut the motor has no part that actually moves on the exterior, just for safety reasons. But I was messing around and actually had the shaft of the motor touching one of the pole pieces, so that you had that physical vibration of the shaft, and then you had the actual electromagnetic interference. So it was this crazy whooshing, like swirling sound. And then as you drop the speed, it would tone down. So somebody who's more talented than me musically could do something crazy with it. That's I want to find who that person is. I'm not that guy, but it's a really cool thing. It's something that you can't get out of an effect pedal. You can't get it out of a pickup. It's just
in my mind, I'm already imagining striking a nice open E and dumping the bar, flick the string, dump the bar, and then hit the button. And I'm wondering what that's going to sound. It'll sound bad.
Well, if Tony has it, I sent you, Tony, a couple of videos of me trying different things. And in fact, I even lowered the speed of the motor and then hit that note. I think it was a B, and so I hit a B chord, and then I hit the button, and I don't have perfect pitch, but I figured it was a B, and I went to the B, and you can reach certain notes if you adjust that knob accordingly.
Yeah.
And so I was fooling around with it. Even Cody asked me, can you put like heavy reverb and delay on it and try it? And we tried that, and it's cool. But if you have some of those, Tony, feel free to share.
Let's do this. Let me
Wow.
All right. Let me
to your point about dropping the bar and hitting that open chord. I mean, that's you, man. You got to go do it. I'll send you one. You tell me what it sounds like. Make a video. Let me know what it sounds like. I want to hear it.
Dude, you don't even have to ask me twice. That's a done deal, man. I'll do that all day long. I would appreciate it. I will play the heck out of it. I've got about 22 guitars here right now. I could take a pick, but just to mention Neil Daly, Chris Locke is building me a neck and body for a PV Wolfgang, and there will be modifying to do, though. It'll be a little beyond what you guys are doing, because we don't have, I'll have to do some route. I'll have to route out for a battery cavity. Right. I would do it that direction. It would be a little bit more of an invasive build. I would probably want you to help me through it. Between you and Lewis, I could do this, no problem.
Yeah, man.
And I would love to do that. That would be awesome.
Let me show this video.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Ignore my bad playing.
I don't believe that for a minute.
I was just fooling around.
You see that all right?
Yep.
Let me know if you
So basically, I did that so you can hear that the motor's working while you're playing different chords, and it doesn't affect it at all.
I was watching the dynamic between your picking, you're working the volume knob, you're working the button, and I was trying to think. Well, I said, well, would I want it somewhere else on the guitar? And I thought, no, I think I kind of like what Lewis is doing there, because you're just it's right there. It's kind of like having the volume knob in the perfect place.
The funny part about having it in that position is I was talking to Tony earlier this week about, during the song Pound Cake, there's a part where he's playing the guitar and doing the drill at the same time. And you can't do that if you're playing live, because you're either playing the guitar or you're grabbing the drill. Here, you can kind of do it and get that. It's a split second of the song, but for us nerds, it's
right during the solo.
Some people want to get that's right. It's right during the solo. Some people want to get that sound correctly at that time.
And it's just a push button away, and all on a 9-volt, has nothing to do with the guitar's stuff. I mean, that is so cool, though. And you have it conveniently taped underneath the pick guard. I mean, it's
and you can load that onto a rear mount as well. All your rear mounted stuff. So that should be an easy hookup on those.
So what other sounds come to mind is like the Boston Tom Schultz sound? Keith and me spoke of that a couple days ago. Yeah. All kind of possibilities.
Yeah. And the production model that we would offer for sale, it'll be a little more polished than what Lewis has, of course, because that's the one we've been prototyping with. There'll be adhesives and things like that that'll make installation a lot easier. It's really not all that bad. So you would, in a typical installation, you would have the main circuit board, which can house the potentiometer, the speed potentiometer on it, or you can have that mounted remotely if you don't want to have the circuit board and the potentiometer together. But those would typically be a single unit fed by a battery, and then just a 2-conductor cable that runs up to the pickup cavity where the interference module is located. And that's it.
Wow. I understood about half of what you said.
Sorry.
And I believe every word of what you said.
I got pretty much most of it. Yeah.
Tom is in the chat. He says this idea is freaking genius. Yeah, Tom.
It is.
It is ingenious.
Wow.
Thanks, guys.
Wow.
I'm surprised nobody's thought of it before either.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I thought. See, I was thinking about it, and I thought somebody has to have something like this. So I used to, when I was an engineer, I had done a lot of patent work, and I got onto the website and started looking through the databases that they have. And it's funny you mentioned the sustainer, because their patent is in there. And that was the only thing that came remotely close, but they operate on different principles. So it's nothing like that, but there's nothing, the EBO, the EBO, that was one that was similar, but
Here's a good question. What about using it on a bass guitar? If it's got a pickup, it'll work.
It does. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You could connect it to a microphone if you wanted to.
Ooh.
I'll
mount it on my bass tomorrow.
It's doing nothing other than what a guitar string does or your voice.
Brendan.
So
We got to do that for Brendan.
So the motor drives the tone. The specific little motor to give you the tone. It was so interesting how in the video Lewis was just playing how it was in pitch.
That's what he was saying about how he had tuned. You can, by shifting the frequency or the speed, the sound you hear is pretty much proportional to the speed. So you can use that frequency of the spin to use a vibration tuner.
He stayed in key. He was in key.
Yeah.
That was just weird.
It's funny because I was thinking of proposing to Cody, like if there's a pot that has little switches where the motor can go from one tone to another.
Right.
But the thing that affects that, if it's running on the battery and your battery's running low, it might hit a different node. So it's just, you got to play with it. It's just, you got, like, mine is starting to die out. I put a new battery in there maybe about an hour before I sent the video to Tony. And I've been playing with it for the last 2 days. And it's you can hear that the motor's just, it needs a new battery. I've been using it way too much. So like if you put it on in before a gig, if you put the gig in before a gig, by the end of the gig, you might have to replace the battery on it. So depends on how much you use it.
I think the audience would probably kill you by then. I think just a little bit goes a long way.
Yeah.
Well,
there are people who could actually make this into a style, though.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. In the right hands, that's what I'm saying. In the right hands, somebody, artistic could do something crazy with it.
Hey,
Tony, speaking of Jeff Beck, imagine if he had one of these. Right? Wow.
Yeah.
Hey Tony, can you show the video with the heavy reverb and delay?
Yeah, let's find it here.
Just so people get an understanding of what it is, because that's another thing that if you put it on a loop, I saw somebody mention it in the feed before,
looping
in the comments. If you put it on a loop and it's on a loops, like, you'll see the video that I'm talking about. Then you can solo on top of it, and you can fool around with it that way.
All right.
You could time it to come in at specific points in the song that you want it to.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just like,
I think that was Tom who actually said that, Tommy. I think Tommy said that earlier.
Yeah.
It's like holding your guitar up against the, speaker cabinet and getting that feedback and using that in the song. It's just another tool in a musician's toolkit.
Wow.
Yeah, the long delay was pretty cool because, again, if you're feeding that signal into an amp that has delay or a pedal, it's going to have that effect on whatever's coming in. So that was just kind of an idea we had goofing around.
Let me see if this is the right one, Lewis. I have a couple of them.
Show them all.
Let's see. All right.
Yeah, a flanger sounds really good too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. All right.
Oh, this is the one.
Yeah. There's that Tom Schultz sound.
So this is heavy reverb and delay.
Wow. And if you were to speed that up, it would just be like lightning bolts.
So this is heavy reverb.
Yeah. Obviously, you change the reverb, effect, and it'll mimic it.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bravo.
Hey, thanks.
Bravo, man.
Yeah, that is ingenious.
Well, gentlemen, I'm thoroughly impressed. My goodness.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thoroughly impressed.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of in the background on this, and Lewis has been my, he has all these crazy ideas, and kind of how we ended up where we were.
Yeah.
We call him MacGyver around here, dude.
Yeah.
Right.
So Lewis touched on that you could possibly eliminate one side or another, either the knob or the switch.
Yeah, it's the benefit of having the potentiometer is that you can adjust the speed, but if you don't like that, then you could just have it always set to the same speed and then just use the push button to spool up to that sound, make pulses and things like that.
What you could also do is you could pick up, if you didn't want to vary the speed and you just wanted to pick a pitch, you could put it to where you wanted it and dime it down inside the cavity to where you don't touch it and just keep that pitch you wanted it. So you can change it if you needed to.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think around about it right now. I'm going to put one in a guitar, I'm going to want to do it with variable speed, because I would definitely want at some point, I guarantee it, I'd be like, man, I need to speed this thing up just a little, or I need to slow it down a little. It would depend on the song. It would depend on, if I've got a little riff in my head and I'm writing a riff and I'm going boom, 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 and I want to do something like what I was saying earlier, maybe just gnarl on the E, not necessarily even hit the bar, just ride that heavy E.
Yeah.
But
I'll make a signature model just for you.
Well,
But as
I love this guy, guys.
You
As
might
we
just
saw-
get a call from Steve
Now you know why he's my friend,
He might
right?
be into this.
as we saw in the video, I mean,
My goodness.
yeah,
Seriously,
It's funny
Steve
because I'll
Stevens
tell
might
you
be
one.
jumping onto this for
we
you
need
guys.
one.
when Cody first
He
sent
might
it
want
to
one
me,
bad.
when Cody first sent it to me, it didn't have the push pull. It was just the pot, and I was having trouble. I was having trouble getting that Van Halen sound out of it. That pound cake sound, because it's a natural decay once you hit the it's a button on a drill, and I was having trouble getting that natural decay just from the pot. So that's when I suggested just put the push on there, and so it kind of just expanded the possibilities of what this thing can do.
But what you're doing in the videos with changing it up and down like that as a player, okay? This thing, keep in mind, this thing is separate. This is all by itself now. It's not going to change what you're playing to incorporate it somehow over here. Up and down.
Cody could even talk to this.
Sounds
It could probably
with
be like
the playing too at
it
the
could be a
same
foot pedal
time,
eventually.
dude. Yeah.
It could be a foot pedal. It doesn't have to be on the guitar. It could be on the floor, and you can control it as a pedal.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, you just blew my mind again, bro.
Yeah, it's a cool little thing. I mean, I'd like to see just somebody that really knows how to play incorporate it into their style or something like that.
I'm already thinking about the thing is, okay, so kill switch, I kind of like to have a kill switch out in front of, or in front of the volume knob, to where you're coming down maybe towards the horn, the lower horn more, if you're talking about a Strat style guitar. So I'm already kind of thinking about putting the knob, the button out away from, as opposed to having it tucked down in there, where you can still get to it with maybe your first finger, your tapping finger, or something of that nature. The possibilities with this thing have just begun, guys, right?
I think, all Van Halen references aside, I think that the gold here is the fact that you can change the speed of the motor.
Yeah. So listen, the genius part of it is when we first started introducing it to people, a lot of people said it's a one-trick pony, and it's really not. It's a one-trick pony because I was working on it, and I was working on it with a Van Halen mentality. But Cody's mentality on it was to expand it to a lot of different things. Wasn't just this one thing. It can do a lot more things. And the fact that we're talking, you put four heads together and we already came up with 2-3 different ideas.
Yeah.
Imagine when we ship this out and people have it in their hands of, hey, can you get this sound? Hey, can you do that? The feedback, I think, is going to be pretty complex based on what people like. Because what all four of us might like here, all five of us might like here, might not be what some guy who's listening to, death metal is going to want out of it.
We do have that link and your email, Cody, down in the description of this show. So
cool. I appreciate that. I mean, we're just getting started out here. This is kind of our launch I guess you would say. We've kind of been preparing for it, but it's not like I have 1,000 of these units on the shelf right now. So we're just kind of spooling up for that.
You should have so many problems.
Let's do this. Let's watch that video again for those who are just joining us here. Let's go ahead and watch this again in Lewis. All right. This is about a minute.
So I picked up this device from my friend Cody. It's called the GIG, G-I-G, which stands for Guitar Interference Generator. It's a patent pending unit that attaches to the bottom part of a pickup and interferes with the sound of the pickup. In this case, there's a small motor underneath there, which is controlled by 2 different switches, an on-off switch, which also controls how fast the motor turns, and a push button, which turns it on. So in this case, with the motor all the way up, we get our familiar sound there. And then if you lower it, you can get you can play around with different sounds. For our purposes, that's the sound we can get. So cool pieces, fully customizable. So you can take away the level switch and just have a push button switch. You can make it into an 18 volt. There's a 9 volt battery underneath there that powers that motor. Totally independent from the circuitry of the guitar. So you can install this and take it out without having to alter or resolder any of the pickups. The only thing that's needed is that the device needs to go underneath the pickup so it changes or interferes with the sound of the pickup. So these can be purchased by going to ronniejamesdiode@gmail.com. They're $100 shipped to the United States. Get yourself a gig. Thank you.
Wow.
Love the
Cody.
name, by the way. Ronnie James. Love it.
Love that name.
We just did a New Year's Eve show, and we were talking about the future and this year. Man, this is such a great start to this year, you guys. My goodness, man. You want to talk about innovation. Cody, are you an engineer by trade? Is that what you
I used to do design work.
Engineers are awesome. They're the greatest thing, man, because you guys are the thinkers and designers, man.
Yeah. The problem was I would sit at my desk doing my work, and then I'd be thinking about guitars, and then start buying stuff, and then after a while you just end up with so much stuff, and you start selling it, and it just kind of turned into a business. And
that is so cool.
We relocated to State College, Pennsylvania, from Pittsburgh. So when I moved out here to State College, I hung up the engineering, and this is just what I do now. I have a whole other
right
business
up in
on
Tom's
eBay.
backyard. Yeah.
So I sell a lot of stuff on eBay, and that's kind of what I do day to day. And then I always have little projects kind of running in the background, and then that's kind of where this came out of.
That is so cool. That is so very cool.
That is I can only imagine the other sounds, but it incorporate that knob into your playing. You just imagine just to sustain a note at any given time using it is,
yeah. I'll send you one too, buddy. Don't worry. If you want one.
I am. Yeah.
This is must-have gear. You're going to sell so many of these things, dude. This is must-have gear. Period.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is really interesting. I can't believe we're here experiencing this on the ground level like this. Lewis, you rock, dude. You freaking rock. Cody, you rock.
Boomster Black, what's up?
You guys
thanks, guys.
Lewis and Cody, why don't you guys join us? We're gonna do a round here of what we call nearly impossible Van Halen trivia. Yeah.
I'm really sorry. I do have to jump out before this. I have to take care of my kids up there. They're screaming right now.
Okay, Cody.
All right.
I'm sorry, guys.
Cody,
Nice
come
to
back for
see
the
you,
next
man.
round.
Nice
it's been
meeting
an
you,
absolute
man.
pleasure, dude. Thank you so very much,
Thank
man.
you,
We
guys.
will be in touch with
Thank
you.
you, Cody. Thank
Thanks
you.
for
Thank
Thanks
you.
for your
Thank
time.
you.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Cody.
hard to bail out, but thank you.
This is going to be an innovation for the year, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Off he goes. All right.
Backing up the
Yeah.
gig.
Wow.
I hear the
Wow.
reverb on that. I heard the reverb on
Yeah.
that.
Hey.
He
All
had it
about
going
the
through.
drill.
He had it going through a wet dry system too. So imagine
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. You know that sound well. Yeah. All right. So nearly impossible Van Halen trivia for tonight. So here's what we're going to do for tonight. We're going to give you a million Van Halen bucks. Like that. And we're going to get you a 1971D quarter with it. So you're getting money. You're gonna win money tonight.
$1 million and 25 cents.
That's right. You're gonna win money. And I've got an unboxing too. Yeah, right on.
Mm-hmm.
I've got
There
an
you go, Louis.
unboxing too that I'm gonna get to a little later. Some coolness post birthday, belated birthday stuff. But I want to show you guys this. This is real quick before we do trivia hangout. It's coming at you, but I want to show you this shirt that I happen to. All right. That's the front. Stardate, Texas. And this is the back.
It's a very cool shirt, dude. Very cool shirt.
Very cool.
They were brought in just for the party. Not for the concert, but just for the party. Because you know Dave knows how to throw a party.
I want to show you guys.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's like the rarest of rare right there.
That was too
Nice.
good not to grab. Yeah. That was too good not
That's
to
so
grab. All right. So we're going to run some nearly impossible Van Halen trivia for tonight. It's a two-part question. Two-parter. Yeah. All right. So if you are the winner, there's an email address down below. Trivia winners email. Email me your stuff. I'll mail you some money. How's that? $1,025,000. You'll get $1 million Van Halen bucks and a 1971D quarter in a little sealed packet. How cool. Like a lollipop, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Shows like this, I wish I was part of the chat. I don't have a 71D.
Yeah. Everybody likes to get a lollipop. You remember when you was a kid
Go to the
at
bank.
the bank, you know,
Yeah.
with your mom and you get a
The dentist.
lollipop? Yeah, dude. All right. Here we go,
After you get
kids.
your
Good
teeth
luck. It's a two-parter, like I say. All right. Two-part question. Nearly impossible Van Halen trivia. January 11, 2023. Good luck. And there it is. This Van Halen song is written about this girl wearing men's underwear in a Calvin Klein advertisement. Name the song and the girl. You can do it.
You got this, you guys.
All right. You watching, Charles?
I'm
I'm
watching.
watching as well.
Gotcha.
Nothing rolling. An absolute standstill. Oh, here we go. Good guess, Christopher, but no.
Yeah, nice try.
R2, R3, it's good to see you, brother.
It's nice to see everybody in the chat. A lot of people. Pretty cool.
You
No
guys
Googling, kids.
you guys should get this. I asked this question to Keith. He got it like that.
Nice try, Ryan, but no.
Oh. I think I see it.
Nope.
No hints to the
No
kiddos.
hints. No hints.
No, I'm
No
talking to you.
I'm going to go to the
Mike
little boy.
Bailey, it's good to see you, bro.
All right.
Hey, Robert.
All right. Where you at, kids?
What's up, Robert? Good to see you, man.
Bingo.
Where's it at, Keith?
Ed DeBro. Ed got it.
There it is.
Yep. Right on, Ed. You rock, brother.
Ed did it.
Well done, dude.
Cindy Crawford and I'll Wait.
Great job, man.
So there were some good answers going on.
Nice. Very nice.
What
Congratulations,
else
brother.
did I see up here? I saw Brooke
Yeah,
Shields.
so Brooke Shields. Yeah.
Rachel Ray. Oh, Lord.
Kathy Ireland. Who was the other one? Billy Joel's ex-wife.
Christy Brinkley.
Christy Brinkley. Yeah, I saw that up there.
So Rachel Ray in 1983, when this song was written, wasn't very old at all, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was probably
Yeah,
not even a teenager by then.
I know. Ed, you did it, man. Congratulations, dude.
Yeah.
Congrats, Ed.
Nice, bro.
Right on. Yeah, so your information for getting yourself a gig is right there. It's in the description. It is yeah. So grab that. So, Lewis, as a player, what do you find that you're doing other than making the pound cake sound?
So, the pound cake sound gets rather redundant pretty quickly. And you can't use it on every single song. So the natural tendency as a musician is to do other things with it. And in fact, I think Cody and I probably spent, 10 minutes talking about pound cake. I wanted to discuss, like you, what else does this do? Because the pound cake is one song. It's one song in the vastness of what this thing can do. So my conversation with him led more, and he's the one obviously who sent me the volume, the pot first. It was my idea to put the push to get that Van Halen sound, because you have to put it all the way up and you have to push it at the same time. So if you fool around with it when the speed of the motor is low, I don't have a Floyd on that, and I don't have a trem arm for that. It's a standard Strat bridge, so I can get a trem arm pretty easily. But I haven't tried it with that. But I'm guessing the sound of the actual strings of the guitar are not going to affect the motor. But there's some cool things you can do with the Floyd or with pressing down a tremolo arm,
Sure.
in conjunction with that I haven't even
Absolutely.
gotten to yet.
You can pull harmonics just
Oh,
like
absolutely.
what you were doing in key
Yeah.
with a Floyd.
Yeah, and it's one thing that I wanted to mention to Cody is, is there almost like, the PRS switches that they lock into different pickup combinations? Can you lock into different notes of that engine, that little motor? So if you're in a song in E, can you put it on E and use it almost as a drone, or play off of that? So again,
I can actually see taking the knob and just putting like a little mark where the sweet mark is, or maybe a little dot of tape or something, and to where you can dial it into the zone where you want it. But would it be exact every time? No, it wouldn't.
Yeah, the battery obviously would change that, unless Cody. This is why Cody is Cody. Cody can come up with something that'll keep that note at that precise click of the pot, no matter how the engine is working. So it's there were also discussions about taking a smaller engine and putting like a booster on it to make it sound deeper or sound different. I think he took a little. He took an engine like right off of what buzzes in your iPhone, and it's really, really small because obviously it's super thin and it can go behind but it sounded like a soprano screaming. It was way too much. So the conversation was, do we put something on there to change that, to get it to the motor to turn differently? And again, there's so much to think about, both playing wise and product wise, that can change the sound of this thing.
The tone I'm thinking of is more along the lines of a Mick Mars, "Kickstart My Heart."
Yeah,
he pulls the E. It's a drop D, the A, and he does it just goes straight up to the. I believe it's the D is the third one. You could, in theory, you could just pick a growl with a button, and then you could still dump the Floyd and pull up those harmonics.
Correct. See, I'm always thinking Van Halen, so I'm thinking let's get the sound of the Miura on there so you can do. Yeah, I just bought this today, by the way. My wife's like, "Why'd you buy it?" I'm like, "It's a Miura. It's
gotta have it.
Gotta have it. It's a Van Halen."
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, there's got to be a ton of ways you can play with it. And I was telling Tony this before. I sent it to Phil X. You guys know I talked to Phil X, and he said I would never use the pound cake sound, but I would fool around with that other sound endlessly.
Right.
And there's a video of him last week at the G4 where he's got his cell phone up to the pickup, kind of doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. I know some of the TC electronic pedals, you can use your cell phone to change, let's say the reverb, the Hall of Fame that they have. I had one a while ago, and to change different reverb soundings, you put your phone up to the pickup, and through the pickup, it changes the internals information on the pedal. And he was getting something like that he was using something from his cell phone to come out of the amp that way. So he's going to have endless fun with this, depending on what he wants to achieve with it. And again, us four can come up with one idea. He can come up with a totally different idea by adding a different pedal, adding a different reverb, adding a different amp. Even Eddie, when Eddie had a wet dry system, if you have two speakers, or even, using my Ripley, if you can use the Ripley and get two different speaker sounds, would the speakers reverberate at the same time? What if you put reverb on one speaker and not on the other, and use that pound cake sound? Is it gonna, or put a delay on one and don't put a delay on the other? You could have endless fun with this thing.
Yeah, with a stereo setup,
And that's just one motor. Imagine the 50 more that Cody's going to come up with, that we're going to come up with, to give him ideas. Because the last conversation I had with him before we come on is that motor's got to come out pretty quickly. It's got to be like almost like the Seymour Duncan, the quick link. I forget what they call it. where you can install a pickup real quickly without
Right,
soldering.
Quick
right.
connector. They're just
Quick
called
connector.
quick hookers.
Quick
Yeah,
connect, correct.
connect, yeah.
You know, that
Or they
motor's
call
got to
it
be on something like
a
that.
pre-rig harness.
Correct.
Anyway,
Yeah.
it's a
So
harness.
that motor's got to be on something like that, where the next thing Cody comes up with, you can just push it out and put it back in, or add it easily.
Right.
Yeah. Bye, Andy.
Take care, Andy.
Take care, Andy. Be safe there.
Definitely.
See you, Andy. Nice
So
to see you, dude.
you know, I fooled around with it a bit, but I'm also doing 200 other things. So, you know, I didn't get too crazy with it. I haven't picked up a guitar and played for a while, so I need.
Oh,
I
you
need
need to do that, bro.
I
for
need like 3-4
insanity,
hours.
buddy.
Yeah.
Keeps you grounded.
Yep, you're right.
What's new in the guitar strap world? If you want to go there, you got anything that you're working on? You want to show or anything?
I am. I finalized 2 straps, so I'll be making a strap with both Frankie Lindia,
Nice.
and I'll be making a strap with Ben Cote. So
Cool.
those are the first 2 straps that are going to be coming out hopefully in the next month or so, and then
Wow,
working with a bunch of other guys to take it from there.
Very cool, dude.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Right on.
You know, both of those guys are Van Halen freaks. You know, Frankie played with David Lee Roth, which was cool. He played with Rat.
Mm-hmm.
And Ben's up in Boston. He's at Berklee College of Music. I love working with both of them because one of them's established to work with Roth. The other one is, you know, going towards the younger generation. You know,
Right.
Ben has a younger following, which I love these young guys that are getting into Van Halen, into the, you know, the stuff that we're into.
Sure.
And so you got to commend both those guys. Good guys to work with. Nice people too. Really nice guys.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I can't wait to see your new straps, man.
Hey, Craig, welcome, man.
Hold on, Craig.
My brother.
Nice to meet you. Welcome to Halenville, brother.
Mikey's right. Both monster players.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of good people out there.
The possibilities. What are your thoughts, Charles, if you had that to incorporate in your playing? What's on your mind about that?
I think that the possibilities for this to give you a variety of really wicked tones. I lean towards sort of a George Lynch kind of high gain
Well,
tone.
but
You know,
it's interesting that you can find a way to pick and to operate the knob at the same time.
and that's what's really important. And so now it would okay, devil's advocate. As I'm sitting here thinking about it, a foot switch is definitely a huge option for this because it's on demand and it doesn't take away from these. However,
You can't
there's
do this with
there is a certain
Can't,
orchestry to it, a medley as he does it.
Yeah.
And he's just playing with it. He
Yeah.
hasn't really gone full nerd with it. It'll be a year from now where he's like, check this out. Look at what I can do with 2 hands. I mean, I can't wait to see it, you know?
Well, I'll let you in on a little secret. Cody's working on a Bluetooth technology, so that's why the pedal can be worked on to Bluetooth. So you don't need to use this. If you do a Bluetooth on there, you can control it by the foot switch without having to use your pinky on there. Blew your mind again.
Interesting. Yes. Although there's a certain beauty to the simplicity of having the button on the guitar and just have it right there.
Yeah.
I'm already thinking about how to mod it because, you know, I was mentioning that, you know, Neil's going to build this PV Wolfgang for me. There's no pickup cover. I mean, I'm sorry, there's no cover. It's all through the back.
Yeah,
So there will have to be some drilling involved. There will have to be some, you know, cavity work. There's going to have to be.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll fit without any alterations, you know, if it's.
Yeah.
Well, alterations are okay. Some alterations are fine. You know, doing the modding and that's what we like.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay to have a little bit of a challenge to mod the guitar, to place it direct. I have no problems with making guitar functional for me. That's what, and I'm sure you guys don't either. I mean, that's what we do, you know. This is really just really, I'm trying to absorb it all, and
I mean, as much as that knob that controls the speed of the motor sounds like a trim, how you can incorporate it two-handed or one-handed or both with your playing, with, I mean,
how about with a foot pedal? How about with a foot pedal? That's really what I'm thinking.
That too.
You know, that would be your speed up, slow down. The foot pedal would be.
Yeah.
You're still engaged with the button.
Yeah. It's almost like a synthesizer type sound as well. So you can think, I'm a big Pink Floyd fan. So there's a lot of those types of sounds in the Pink Floyd repertoire.
I could see doing doing an ascending run and increasing or lowering, depending, I don't know, I'm just thinking here, the actual sound as you're doing it. And you could do them in opposition of one another. And at that point where they cross and then go back, holy shit.
Well, think about if you put a motor underneath the bridge pickup and a motor underneath the neck pickup, and you have two controllers, and then you're having them cross. One's
in a loop, possibly in a loop, maybe.
Could be a loop. It could be one's going up and one's coming down at the same time.
I can't imagine doing that though. The functionality, because I don't have three hands, much less four, right?
Correct. But maybe you can wire a volume pedal that when you're going down, it increases one and it doesn't the other. You can,
I can see starting one
can figure that out.
and then starting the other, and then there's a point where they're going to cross, and at that point, that would be where you would sync. Yeah. You know what? We got a brand new bag, guys. This is really cool. This is very cool.
Yeah.
I was listening during your second segment that you were doing there, and you're making the space sounds and stuff. Reminded me a lot of that one song by the Commodores back in the mid '70s.
Yes,
Summer Riot.
Yep. Yeah. I was trying to think of the name of it right off because I didn't plan that. I was just fooling around with it just to give Tony some
Summer Riot
reference. And you're absolutely right. When I heard it, it reminded me totally of that. I didn't hit the right notes going up, but you
were damn close,
exactly right. That's right.
Damn close.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, all the techniques and possibilities. That's why first thing that popped in my head was Steve Stevens is going to be knocking on somebody's door here. He'll love this.
I mean, there's other avenues to blues slide guitar stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like Beck would probably be all over that too. God rest his soul.
Who knows? They might even like those little engines.
Yeah.
Here's a question: what about piezos? Would it be able to work with that with a piezo?
Good question. I don't know. I got to go buy a Parker now. Try it out. Just because Eddie had one, I had to go get a Parker.
Yeah, Parker Fly.
That's right.
For that bridge school benefit.
Yeah, I think half the fun is going to be anybody who gets one fooling around with it and just giving feedback.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Cody's going to have a ton of fun just figuring out people's demands, or people's requests of what they can achieve on it.
What's up, Jay Turner?
There you go,
Nice
Jay.
to
Eric
see
Ailes
you.
as well, yeah.
I got some mail from Jay. I'm going to show you this. This is cool. Bam.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Look at that. Got replenished.
Oh, that's wonderful, dude.
Look at all them pretty little picks.
Right on, Jay. Thank you, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty little picks all in a row, ho, ho, walking the dog.
We will make sure that Ed gets one of those tonight as well. Yeah.
Super cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
I love this pick, though. The one with the lion and then the hammerman on the other side.
That's a great
Jay's got some cool.
Such a cool.
He's got such a great collection, and I just dropped it too.
Yeah, Ed, I'll drop one in there, dude. No problem, bro. Thank you, sir. Yeah, definitely I will. I'm I'm gonna pop this open. I recently had birthday, so nice to have a birthday on the holidays. That way, everybody has a reason to party, right? If I can get it out of here.
Keith, things slowing down in California with all that rain?
Oh, don't even get me started on the rain
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I went up to Book Soup up in Hollywood
Oh, that's right. How was
during
that?
the storm. I got into Culver City right when the storm was hitting,
Oh, wow.
and then it was torrential downpours through the book signing, and then a bunch of us all met up and went to the Rainbow. And by the time we left there, it was raining sideways, and
Oh, wow.
the streets were flooded. We were pairing up the animals and building an ark. It was bad. I was
Nice.
driving on the freeway. It took me an hour to get out of LA. I
Wow.
was driving on the freeway 30 miles an hour and hydroplaning.
Wow.
It was
Wow.
that bad. Yeah, I had the wipers going full bore, and I still couldn't see. Nobody could see a thing. Everybody was like trying to figure out where's the flood line on the turns. Getting out of LA. It was so bad.
Wow.
All right, what you got there, Tony? Yeah.
That's nice.
2 CD.
Very nice.
Very cool.
Excellent, man.
Little easy listening. Yeah.
We got 350,000 fans here. Who loves rock and roll?
Somebody just told me the other day that it wasn't even them getting out of the helicopter. It was like people looking like them.
Really?
So I posted
There
a
are
picture
tons
of
of pictures of them, though.
Yeah, it kind of looks like that. I don't know if it's true or not, but
Yeah.
I can see how they probably wouldn't get in a helicopter. Where was the other one where they jumped out of with parachutes?
That was
wasn't them.
That was the LA Coliseum.
That was the LA Coliseum. That wasn't them either, right?
Oh no, I'm sorry, Anaheim.
And
They just
Yeah.
popped up
Angel
behind the
Stadium.
stage after.
yeah.
Yeah, then Alex twists his ankle on that.
Wearing jumpsuits. Look, it's Van Halen's parachuting into the stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a hell of a way to start your show, though.
Right?
In front of
Better than-
that many people. Shit.
Better than breaking your leg in Italy.
I know.
This is true.
I know.
It's true.
Or
So
your nose
I went
on a
to-
mirror ball.
That's
I
it.
went
Or
to-
your nose at Funko Pop.
Oh yeah. I went to Italy for work maybe about a month ago.
Pink Pop.
The company I work for is out of Milan. And I was trying desperately to get to that dinosaur park where they filmed that video.
Oh yeah.
I was desperately, and everybody's looking at me and they're like, "Why do you want to go there?" Like kids go there, and I'm like, "I want to go there." They're like, "No, you don't want to go there," and I'm like, "Yeah, I do want to go there."
So
next
you went
time-
there.
No, I didn't. I didn't end up. I
Oh,
only went
man.
for 3 days, but sooner or later I'll end up going there.
I wanted to know if the dinosaurs were all still there, and
They're still there.
really,
They're still
That's
there.
awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
30 years, 40 years later, they're still there.
Yeah, I remember when that first resurfaced, and it was announced where it was all, what the song was all for and everything. And then one of the Italian Van Halen websites was like, "Yeah, that place still exists."
Yep. Pretty funny.
They said it was kind of seedy on the things that go on there now, but
That's why they were like, "What do you want to go there for?"
yeah.
wow.
So
Let me ask you this, Lewis. It's been a little while since we've spoken, or since we've had you on the show. What is your take on where is the card on this?
Oh, nice. Yes. There's a friend of mine playing somewhere in one of those bands. I forget who it was. Maybe Rob Caggiano with Volbeat. I think he's playing one of the nights there in Sweden, I believe. yeah, there's interesting. I haven't had a chance to sit down and listen to the new Metallica song, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Heard both good and bad things about it.
I have to.
Yeah.
I have to.
Mammoth is a part of that tour.
Mammoth is part of that tour.
Interesting how they're you buy your tickets, it's 2 nights. You buy your seats, you can go to both nights, different opening acts
Yeah.
on each night.
Yeah.
Different sets too by
Mhm.
Metallica. Yeah, that may be the start of something
Yeah.
in the future for concert goers.
I give
Really.
Metallica a ton of credit because remember during COVID they were like streaming a live concert or something. They were thinking of how to stay out there. And obviously I realize it's a business, they're trying to make money at it, but at least they're thinking about how to do it differently. And in these types of situations, it's just, you can tell they're thinking about, you know, us Van Halen fans, I hate saying this, they're thinking about the fans.
Yeah.
You know, as opposed to Van Halen, they're thinking about the fans and how to make the experience better for the fans. So you got to give them a ton of credit thinking that way.
And during all that time, they were recording this album, you know, 72
Correct.
seasons as well.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And I've heard the song, you know, it reminds me a lot of Death Magnetic.
Okay.
You know, it reminds me a lot of that single.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's got a good beat to it, you know. You could dance to it. I give it an 8.
Yeah. So,
you know, a lot of people have, you know, their qualms about it too. You know, they want the old, you know, Ride the Lightning, you know,
correct.
Metallica back.
Correct.
Like, sorry, it's not going to happen. Cliff isn't here, so there you go.
Everybody's going to evolve one way or the other, right? Like
Exactly. It's an evolution.
Yep. Correct.
Yeah.
You know, we saw it with Van Halen ourselves. It's early Van Halen's different than late Van Halen.
4 different versions of it.
Correct. Still Van Halen.
That's the God's honest truth, man. It's night and day. It's two different bands almost.
Yeah.
4 bands. We had 4 different bands.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right about that. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
You know, Dave years, Sammy years, Gary years, and then with Wolfgang. You know, different kind of truth.
Yeah.
The great part for me is seeing, you know, talking to these guys that I'm working with for the straps, is seeing how they influenced everybody differently. You know, everybody took something different away from. There's people who like early Van Halen. There's people who like later Van Halen. You know, I obviously grew up in the 90s. So that For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge was my real intro into Van Halen. It's still my favorite album. Because that's what I grew up with. That's what I heard. That's what I have as a point of reference. Right. But to see these guys who, you know, Phil Schaus, who he plays with Accept, huge Van Halen fan. Ryan Cook, huge Van Halen fan. You know, they're like, those are 2 guys that are like me. I don't play like Eddie Van Halen. I appreciate it. I understand what he's doing. Not
many people do.
Exactly. And so it's, you know, and I have that Kiss and Pink Floyd and Rush influence, and they might have had, you know, Jeff Beck and Hendrix but it's funny how Eddie's that common denominator through all these guys, how they influence him differently. And it's nice to see that because you only have your own experience to look at. But when you see other people's experience, you're like, oh yeah, you're right. You know, there's all these different experiences and we're all taking something away from it, which is great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. Well, it all genres. I mean, from 1980 really until 85, early 80s, he influenced every player on the planet.
Yeah.
Whether they admit it or not.
Yeah. So it's funny. I was talking to somebody. I forgot who I was talking to the other day, and they were telling me a story about how there was an opening band for Van Halen, and the promoter came up to the opening band and they said, if you do any form of tapping, you're getting thrown off the stage, because they wanted Eddie to have that, you know, platform. Yeah, and everybody was copying him at that time. Everybody was copying him at that time. And so you can tell, even nowadays, you know, you look at Mateus Asado, and there's Eddie in there somewhere, you know, and it's part of normal life nowadays of having that technique incorporated in your style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Monster player, by the way. One of my favorites.
Yeah.
Mateos. Holy cow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Blows me
Phenomenal
away
player.
with anything he does. Yeah. Yeah. And hasn't even come out with an album yet.
Yeah.
It's in the future.
It's in the future. Yeah, it'll be there. Until then, we're enjoying them.
And where is it at? There it is. Once again, we are sorry to hear the news this afternoon, the passing of Jeff Beck. Yeah.
You know, Tony, in 1983, I worked a West Security show. It was, I think it was at the LA Forum. It was a benefit. It was called Ronnie Lane's Appeal for Arms, I think was the name of it. And I forget what that actually was for. I forget now. But it was Eric Clapton, Paul Rogers, Jimmy Page, Joe Cocker, and Jeff Beck all together. And I can remember when Jimmy Page was doing, and I was 30 feet away from Jeff and Eric when Jimmy Page was doing his solo. And all Eric and Jeff kept doing were bumping shoulders, and they had their hands up on their head, and they were watching, just staring at Jimmy Page, who had gone into a chicken picking style. He was doing this thing with all his fingers, and it was just mesmerizing the two of them, and they weren't faking it. I was watching it in real time. It is one of the single greatest Jeff Beck memories I will ever have. What an unbelievable talent that man was. He was an innovator. His innovations were, he was a tech pioneer, not necessarily in the origination or the manufacturing of them, but in the actual use and the promotion of different things. He was in distortion, the early days of distortion, modulation. He intensified bending notes in his music. When you hear his vibrato and his bending, that's Jeff Beck, man.
Use of tremolo.
He widened. Yes, the tremolo.
Tremolo with the bend. Oh my God.
Yes. And he just basically, I guess if I was going to put it into like one sentence, he widened sort of the range of guitar expression, the way the guitar expressed. And I can't really put it into any better words than that. Wow, what a loss. It's a shame. What a shame. Rest in peace, Jeff Beck, dude. Holy crap.
We spoke about this earlier. When I heard that news, I thought to myself, well, who's the biggest Jeff Beck fan that I know? And a lot of us is Steve Rosen.
He wrote one of the best articles on Jeff Beck on the planet Earth.
He wrote a book on.
He wrote a book.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Book. I'm so sorry. My bad.
That was his first book.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Steve always, he was to Jeff Beck what Ed is to my generation.
Yeah.
So here I have
in 70. Go ahead, Keith.
He praised Jeff's playing, and Steve made no bones about it on Show Me Your Pick in the early days of Show Me Your Pick. This was just a year and a half before Ed passed. That Steve would regularly say that he thought Jeff Beck is the greatest guitar player on earth. But that's where he came from, and he saw Hendrix, and he saw Page, and he saw all of them.
Clapton.
But
I remember my older
he always
brother
said that he was the best of anyone.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you, gentlemen. The Seymour Duncan JB, Jeff Beck or not? Is it
That's
a jazz?
The question of the ages.
Jazz bridge, or was it jazz? What was the B standing for? Is it Jeff Beck or is it jazz bridge pickup? Jazz blues pickup. That's what it was supposed to be.
Jazz blues
Jazz
pickup,
blues.
I believe. But
What do you guys
if you're
think?
a fan, it could be a Jeff Beck pickup.
It sounds a little too hot for Jeff Beck, though.
Yeah,
It
very
does.
hot for
It
Jack.
does. It does.
Very hot.
But he may have known how to control that.
It's true.
Hey,
That's
I
very
stuck
true.
a 20K. Okay. I did like something. I can admit this. We're friends. I took my hot for teacher. I pulled the DiMarzio out, and I got a mother bucker from FU Tone, a 20K mother bucker, to try a really hot pickup to see
20K.
what I could get out of it. Okay, it is hot like it's hot like a Vinnie Vincent Invader, but it's got body like a burst bucker. It's got that buttery body tone to it. And I think it's absolutely outstanding, but I have to control the pickup. I have to dial things back or it's too much. But when I dial things back, I get into
Robert, good
absolute
to see you.
beautiful tone. And
Eric,
things
welcome.
like pickup height as opposed to the strings really matters in that situation. It matters anytime. But that's where I really started working with that guitar, trying to get the tone back because I love the tone. It's like taking a brick and throwing it at a plate glass window. If you can think of that kind of punch, that's kind of what I've got going out of this thing. And I'm very happy with it. Anyway.
Yeah.
Guitars are fun, guys.
Yeah. Every one of them's got a total different personality from each other one.
They do, don't they?
wow.
Yes,
That's
they
the
do.
beauty of it. Yeah.
That's very good, bro. You're absolutely right, man.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna wind things down. Where are we at? We're at 145. Yeah. Let me share a couple of things with you guys before we get too far along and forget we missed our friend Neil tonight, but if you want to huddle up about a build, Neil's links are down in the description. Daily custom designs.
I saw your purple pacer, by the way.
Yeah, it's coming along.
saw
Yeah, the
it.
fruit sickle.
Nice.
The fruit sickle. Yep, it'll be here
Looking good.
before you know it.
Yep.
It's looking
Yeah.
good, guys.
Progress.
Can't
Progress,
wait.
And
progress.
you
Yeah.
kids wanting some custom guitar picks, Greg Legend Picks. That's your go-to guy. Links are down below. Yeah.
I'm getting a couple picks from him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brendan B Squared Cigar Box guitars. They look
Love it.
like that, and they're
Very cool.
lovely.
Very
Get
cool.
you one today. There's Brendan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So later on in the week, let me get down there. Where is it at? My goodness. There it is. Later in the week, we're gonna this Saturday show me your pick, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on the channel. We talk guitar picks and rock memorabilia. Peter Frampton this Saturday, January 14th. Yep. 9 o'clock,
Yeah.
we'll be talking all things Peter Frampton, showing you a lot of cool Frampton guitar picks and giving away a Peter Frampton guitar pick.
Sweet.
Very cool. Very cool.
Will Tony be whipping out his talk box? That's the question.
Wah, 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 wah. But yeah, that's Saturday right here. Yeah, I can't wait for that.
Adam Roach just jumped in, and Jeff K just jumped in as well. It's good to see you
What's going
guys.
on, boys?
Yeah,
Okay.
nice to see you guys. Yep. All righty. Lewis, it has been a pleasure. It's always a pleasure, sir,
Same
to
here.
see you and to have you on.
Sure, brother.
And this
Thank you.
I think that we are gonna be hearing about this very often for a while now. So this buzz is out there, but
Yeah.
yeah.
This is ongoing right now from this moment forward, Lewis.
Good. We got to
Yes,
keep
sir.
Cody busy. I'm glad he was able to pop on.
Yeah, thanks to
Yeah, that was
Cody
excellent.
too for
Thank you,
joining.
Cody. Absolutely.
Yeah.
dude.
Thank you.
Let's give
Genius.
Cody
Genius.
another-
Genius.
Yeah.
Yes. And,
Yeah,
smart of him
right
to
on.
jump on it to get the patent done too, as well.
Yeah.
That's foresight right there, because
Yep.
most people would just let it rest, and
Correct.
he's got the vision for it.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But thank you, gentlemen. Always a pleasure. I appreciate you having me on. Nice to be with you.
You rock, bro.
Yeah,
You
Lewis.
Come on, Lewis.
Always a
You're the
pleasure.
best, man.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Right there, guys.
There you go.
It was just an
Yeah.
honor to meet you at EVHCon.
That was great.
You know?
Yeah. We had a good
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Oh, that was the one regret that all of us had was we didn't get the group shot.
That's true.
You know?
We have next year.
Yeah. And
We were
Yeah.
having too much fun.
next year I'm gonna be wanting one of those shirts there, brother.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, because you were sporting that at EVHCon. I'm
Yeah,
like, tonight I'm like, oh, I recognize that shirt. Yeah, that's a badass pair of stitches there, man.
Yeah, it is.
Helps to have a sewing machine nearby.
Yeah.
Yeah, so one last thought on that, guys, before we bail. Charles, in his playing, Lewis, he likes his knobs in certain places, and he'll make no bones to move them.
Mhm.
So his is why it's why I asked him what is his thoughts, because if he can get this thing nearby him, he's got big hands. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking of putting it in front of the pickup as opposed to behind the pickup.
Sure.
And having that little so how you're hitting the button and going to the volume, I would just be at the volume where you have the button and have the button in front. So the volume knob for the guitar would be in between the dial for the little finger or the ring finger, possibly. I'm so intrigued.
Here's
Can't
another
wait.
thought. You can talk to Cody about it. He can tell you better than I. Remember those old Fender? I think they were the Elites that had the push button in the middle of the volume knob.
Yes,
you could probably do something like that and have both knobs in one, so you don't have to have two knobs. You can.
That's
good Lord, man.
Bada freaking bing. Yeah.
Okay, we got to do another show right now because we just hit the wall of freaking worms again.
You just made me think. I used to have an old Elite that had the little button in the middle, right?
all right.
Yeah.
Redo. Make some coffee. We're going live in 5. Okay? I'm kidding.
All right, there.
That might solve both problems for you.
I've had so much fun, you guys. Look, I'm not supposed to have this much fun doing this darn show, you guys. All right.
That's the answer to having both, though. That's it.
Yeah, somebody had mentioned that to me the other day, and I said, that's a genius idea. And you just made me think of it again. Yeah, how you can put that in there.
You know, there's different pluses and minuses to different placements for functionality.
For sure.
And there is no right answer, I don't think.
Nope.
There's
you
no
could do it
wrong
this way or
answer.
that way. What was that, Keith?
No wrong answer.
No, there's no wrong answer either.
But it's like Pete Townsend. Pete Townsend had the guitar that had a switch, like a Strat switch in the middle of nowhere.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because it worked for him. You know, I don't even know what that thing did. Was it a piezo? What was it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
But he had
know.
a Strat. His signature Strat had like an on-off, like a toggle switch, like in the middle of nowhere. It was behind the tremolo. It works for him. It works for him.
Yeah.
There's number 5.
You know, sometimes it's not about necessarily what the guitar player wants. It's more about what his guitar tech comes up with and how they have a meeting of the minds for, we can do it this way because of the functionality. I mean, you know, there's so many variations.
I think all of us are, we take the tools and we use a tool. We don't look at a guitar. Like I remember I stopped buying PRSs years ago because they're pretty on the wall, but you didn't want to nick it. You didn't want to scratch it. I need a guitar as a tool. I want to abuse it. I want to use it. I want to use it the way that's best for me. It's what Eddie taught basically me is you can change anything to what you need it. He couldn't find anything in the market. He made his own. He wasn't worried about, you know, that SG chopping it off. He said, it's I need it as a tool. And I think more guitarists need to think that way, because otherwise you're a collector, right? You're not playing the guitar, you're looking at it. And PRSs are beautiful, but for me, they're pieces of furniture.
Yeah.
You know, they're great to look at, but
Yeah.
who's really going to want to take that out on tour?
If you're too afraid to put a scratch in it, then it's art. That's all it is. Because it's
and
not
there's
a
some
tool.
beautiful
Tools get
beautiful.
damaged. Tools get
I'm not
used. They
knocking
get marred.
PRS. Don't get me
You
wrong. I'm not knocking PRS. They made a Van Halen guitar one. They proposed a guitar to Eddie.
Yeah.
They're beautiful guitars. I took a factory tour twice of them. I've owned a bunch of them. They just weren't for me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So no hate mail on PRSs, please.
Like Alex always said, to a hammer, everything is a nail.
There you go.
So
There you go, dude. There you go.
you always got an application for something, whatever you need it for.
Yeah.
The future is so bright right now. We're just starting this new year, and things are looking pretty good, you guys. Lewis.
Yeah.
You rock, dude. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You guys rock.
We're gonna do these. I can't wait to. I'm gonna need your help, so I'm gonna be asking for your help while I do this. It'll be
Ask
coming
away.
up.
Ask away.
Excellent. I can't wait. That's cool, man.
Let's all get some gigs between us.
Yeah.
Get yourself a gig out there, boys and girls.
Evidently, before the show, I didn't know it, but I need a gig. My goodness.
Got to get a
Yeah.
gig.
You know that.
Hashtag
So,
got to get a gig.
Gotta get a
all
gig.
right. So
Say that 3 times fast.
we have the links to get a gig in the description. The links to the video and the email address are down below. And get you one. We're gonna get one. You can get
You
one.
really need more than one.
Yeah. So, nice to see you guys too.
One thing I
Leave a
forgot to
thumbs
ask
up.
Lewis, real quick, Tony. I'm sorry, I apologize. Where is Cody located?
State College, Pennsylvania.
Okay, he's in State College. Okay.
So a side note on Cody too. He's the guy who went in on me with the PV necks, by the way, cleaning out the PV factory. So all the PV necks that I have, he's now selling on his eBay site. I got too busy with the straps and everything in my regular job, and that's what he does. So I just said, you take back all the necks, and he's got them all on his eBay site. If you have any vintage 80s, 90s super strats and need any parts of them, I think it's Stigatsu on Instagram. He has every single part imaginable. You know, you saw just the bodies behind them.
Would he have something for a vintage Kaler?
He would.
Really?
He would. He can find you anything, and if he doesn't have it, call me. There's this guy up in Rhode Island who makes parts for Kalers that I can
That's
get those.
1984 or 85 Kaler.
Yeah,
right there. It came out of a BC Rich Warlock.
Yeah.
And it's missing. Well, it needs a replacement on 2 of the rollers because it's a roller bridge.
Yeah.
It needs a replacement on 2, and then I need an extra tightening screw for the string block.
Cody will have it. Cody will have it.
Wow.
Cody loves Kalers, by the way. So I hate him.
Really?
I've bought, and that's how I got to know him. You guys know I like building stuff on my low downtime, and you want the Chevron tuners, he's got a bunch of them. You want the right pickup switch, he's got a bunch of them. He's got everything. I went to his office, and those cars in the background were just half the stuff that he had. It blew my mind. I didn't want to leave.
That's a candy store. That is a candy store. Oh,
yeah. And so he's got everything. So if anybody needs any particular item, he's got it. I asked him for something the other day because it was in the junk file because I was going to throw it out. So I said, no, don't throw anything out. If you have things you're going to throw out, there's probably people who want them. So he has a bunch of stuff. Nice guy too. Really nice guy.
God, man. Yeah, I said we could just keep going and going and going. I got Kaler questions right now for you, Lewis. I'm going to hold off on
Charles.
Email Ronnie James Diode.
Diode. Love that title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's wrap this up, right, Tony?
All right. Kiddos. All right. Leave a thumbs up on the video. Do that.
Share. Always share.
All right.
Get a gig.
Get a gig.
All right. Now, so yeah, leave a thumbs up on the video. We're actually are gonna be quiet and leave now. So if I forget to cut the thing off, we're gonna leave now. But Lewis, it's always nice to see you, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen.
We will see you very soon. Yeah, and we'll see you guys next week. Any last words?
Guys, just don't
Charles
forget this is Halenville, and around here, doesn't matter if you go north, south, east, or west, every single road is going to lead you straight to Van Halen. Have a great week. Thank you, Cody and Lewis. Thank you guys so much. Love you, chat. Rock on.